Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever found yourself maybe in the middle of a really engaging conversation, perhaps with a native English speaker, and the perfect English words were right there, on the tip of your tongue?
Oh, definitely. That feeling where you just know the word but.
Exactly. But you just couldn't quite get them out. That tiny, almost imperceptible pause, that split-second hesitation before you speak. Well, for many people, that's actually your brain doing a quick, invisible translation from your native language into English.
It's a little mental detour, yeah.
It is. It's a moment of friction, a subtle mental hiccup that I think we've all experienced, whether we consciously recognized it at the time or not.
Right. It's very common.
So today, we're diving into a topic that promises to really revolutionize how you engage with English, not just like conversationally, but at a fundamental cognitive level.
We're talking about getting deep into the wiring, essentially.
Precisely. Mastering the art of thinking directly in English, just like a native speaker does. We're going to explore why this isn't just some linguistic trick or a clever workaround.
It's not a hack.
No. It's a profound and fundamental shift that truly unlocks genuine, effortless fluency. It's about more than just knowing the words. It's about actually kind of inhabiting the language.
Making it your internal operating system. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. So our mission for this deep dive is basically to equip you with powerful, actionable techniques to bypass that internal translation step.
To cut out the middleman, so to speak.
Exactly. Making your English faster, significantly more confident, and incredibly natural. We've poured through our sources to bring you some fascinating insights and practical step-by-step guidance.
And the steps are really quite accessible.
They really are. Trust me, you'll probably be surprised at how accessible this skill truly is, no matter where you are in your learning journey right now.
It's not just for super advanced learners.
Not at all. It's for anyone who yearns to speak English with true ease and, spontaneity.
What's truly fascinating here, and what our sources consistently highlight, is that we're talking about a real transformation in how your brain actually processes language. It's moving beyond just like rote memorization and consciously applying grammar rules.
Right, like filling in blanks in a textbook.
Yeah, exactly. It's moving towards a more organic, intuitive understanding. This isn't just about adding English vocabulary to your mental dictionary. It's about integrating English into your core cognitive framework.
So it becomes part of your internal world.
Precisely, making it a natural part of how you think and feel.
Okay, so let's kick things off with a fundamental question.
Why?
Why? Why does thinking in English matter so much?
Right.
Why is it truly the foundation of authentic fluency, not just, an advanced technique?
Well, the primary issue, and our sources really hammer this home, is what we might call the double brain problem.
Double brain problem, okay.
Yeah. If you constantly think in your native language, first, processing an idea, an emotion, figuring out your response, and then translate that fully formed thought into English.
You're doing everything twice, basically.
Exactly. You're essentially forcing your brain into a two-step process for every single thing you want to say. And that creates a significant cognitive load.
So it's tiring, mentally.
It is. Your brain is performing double the work, and this dual processing means you'll struggle to achieve true, effortless fluency. You're always sort of playing catch-up, always incurring this mental tax.
I see what you mean. It's not just a momentary pause then. It's like a constant drain on your mental energy.
Yeah.
Your brain first conceptualizes an idea in its most comfortable language.
Its default setting.
Right. It's default. Then it has to consciously seek out the equivalent English words, the right structure, the tone. And that creates a noticeable delay.
Even if it's tiny.
Even if it's just a fraction of a second.
Yeah.
But that's enough to disrupt the natural flow and rhythm of a conversation, isn't it?
Absolutely. It breaks the rhythm.
It's like trying to have a spontaneous dance, but you keep stopping to look at your feet or consult a manual.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
That mental friction, it leads to hesitation. And I imagine that chips away at your confidence over time.
It really does. And to illustrate this vividly, our sources offer a classic example that probably many learners will recognize.
Okay.
Sometimes a direct word-for-word translation can lead to sentences that are grammatically correct, maybe.
Technically correct, yeah.
Technically correct, but they sound utterly unnatural. Think about saying, I have cold, instead of the native like, I am cold.
Right, I hear that one sometimes.
Yeah. And while a native speaker might figure out what you mean eventually,
it just sounds off.
it sounds stiff, awkward, and distinctly non-native. And this isn't just about picking the wrong vocabulary word, it's about the very structure of thought.
The way the idea is built in the language?
Exactly. The idiomatic way native speakers express concepts. Thinking directly in English helps you form sentences the way native speakers do. You're accessing those inherent patterns, bypassing that clunky and often inaccurate translation step.
And haven't we all felt that? That awkward moment where you know exactly what you want to say, the idea is crystal clear in your head.
Yep. Clear as day in your native language.
Right. But the English words just won't form naturally, or they come out sounding stiff and, well, weird, almost like you're reading from a script.
That's often this translation delay at play. That mental detour is causing the hesitation.
It's that moment where your brain is struggling to bridge the gap between two different language systems.
And the result is often a loss of spontaneity, a loss of naturalness.
So this internal processing delay, it has a direct impact then on your outward fluency and your confidence.
A huge impact. When you train your brain to think directly in English, words just come to you much faster. It allows for more spontaneous, more natural responses.
Which means fewer awkward pauses.
Fewer pauses, much smoother conversations, and a more fluid, engaging speaking style overall. This increased speed isn't just about sounding faster, though.
What else is it about?
It's about removing that mental friction, that hesitation that crops up when you're searching for words through translation. It allows the vocabulary and grammar you already know to be readily accessible.
And that, in turn, must really build confidence.
Oh, absolutely. With faster recall and more natural phrasing, your confidence in speaking English just skyrockets.
You feel less hesitant?
Much less hesitant, less worried about fumbling for words, and much more willing to just jump into conversations, to express your opinions, or even just share a casual thought without overthinking it.
It's like a positive feedback loop.
It's a powerful, virtuous cycle, exactly. The more you think directly in English, the more fluent you become, and then the more confident and eager you feel to speak and interact more.
This brings up a really critical point, I think. How much of what we perceive as a lack of fluency is actually just this processing delay?
That's a great question.
Rather than a true gap in knowledge, like not knowing enough words or grammar.
That's exactly what our sources suggest. Many learners already possess a substantial vocabulary and a pretty good grasp of grammar.
They've done the work, put in the hours.
They have, but the translation step acts like a bottleneck. It prevents that knowledge from being readily accessible and deployable in real-time conversations.
So the knowledge is there, just locked away somehow.
In a sense, yes. Our sources emphasize that by removing that translation step, we unlock the fluency that, in many cases, is already within us. It's just waiting for the brain to establish more direct neural pathways for expression.
It's about optimizing the brain's existing English capabilities then.
Precisely. Making the connections more efficient.
Now, thinking in English also profoundly enhances your listening skills, right? I heard there's a reciprocal relationship there.
Yes, absolutely. When you stop translating your own thoughts out of your native language,
you naturally stop translating incoming English.
Exactly. It makes sense, right? Thinking in English helps you process conversations much more quickly because you're engaging in direct comprehension.
No middleman again.
No middleman. Instead of hearing an English phrase, translating it into your native language, processing its meaning there, and then translating your response back to English.
Which sounds exhausting just describing it.
It is. Instead, you just recognize words and phrases instantly in their original form. It becomes a much more streamlined comprehension process.
Which eliminates a huge bottleneck in real-time communication.
It really does. And this immediate recognition helps you understand not just the literal words, but also the nuances, the tone, the speed, the idiomatic expressions, all the stuff that makes up natural speech.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting and I think often surprising to learners. Imagine watching your favorite English TV show or listening to a fast-paced podcast like this one, or being in a lively group chat and actually catching every nuance, every subtle joke, every double meaning without your brain just scrambling to keep up.
Yeah, being fully present in the conversation.
Right. I know I've had moments watching foreign films where I felt like I was just grasping the main plot points, only to realize later I'd missed whole layers of meaning.
We've all been there.
So this instant, direct recognition applies to everything. Movies, music, and especially real-life, quick-fire conversations.
Absolutely. You're not just hearing sounds anymore. You're understanding meaning directly in real time, just as a native speaker would. And that makes the whole experience so much richer, so much more engaging.
Okay, and you mentioned something else, a surprising benefit.
Yes. Let's not overlook a somewhat surprising but very beneficial outcome. Thinking in English can actually improve your pronunciation.
Really? How does that work?
Well, our sources highlight that when your inner voice operates consistently in English, when you're thinking the word...
You sort of hearing them in your head.
Precisely. You naturally hear words in your head the way native speakers say them. You internalize their rhythm, their stress patterns, their intonation, even the individual sounds.
So your internal model gets more accurate.
Exactly. This internal auditory model becomes a crucial reference point for your spoken output.
I'm glad you brought up pronunciation. It's an aspect that's often overlooked in this context. Like, your internal ear becomes a much better, more accurate guide for your speaking muscles.
That's a great way to put it. This internal auditory model then guides your spoken English, making your pronunciation clearer and more accurate because you're internalizing the rhythm and intonation, not just memorizing individual sounds in isolation.
You're training your articulatory organs, your tongue, your lips, to align more closely with native patterns because your mental template, your inner voice, is already aligned with how the language actually sounds.
It becomes more automatic, less conscious effort.
So what does this all boil down to for you, the listener? To quickly summarize, thinking directly in English makes you significantly faster in your responses.
Check.
Vastly more confident in your speaking abilities.
Definitely.
Dramatically improves your listening comprehension and processing speed.
Crucial.
And even sharpens your pronunciation.
The surprising bonus.
That's a really powerful and holistic combination of benefits, isn't it?
Yeah.
Collectively, they propel you towards true, effortless fluency and, I think, a much deeper connection with the English language itself.
Absolutely. It changes your relationship with the language.
Okay, that's a really compelling case for thinking in English. You've laid out all those transformative benefits. But if it's so beneficial, why don't more learners just adopt this naturally? What are the common roadblocks, those ingrained habits that often hold people back from making this crucial shift?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The first and perhaps most pervasive mistake is what we can call the translation trap.
The translation trap. Okay.
It's often an unconscious habit, but it's tenacious. It's an over-reliance on your native language. The primary problem here is that if you constantly translate, your brain never gets the crucial practice it needs to actually form English sentences directly.
It never learns to stand on its own 2 feet, linguistically.
Exactly. It's always taking that mental detour through your native language, making English always a secondary processing step rather than the primary one.
So it builds a dependency.
Like a crutch.
It does. And that crutch prevents the development of autonomous thought in English. It's like keeping your linguistic muscles perpetually in a cast. They never get strong on their own.
That's a powerful analogy. Our source uses a perfect one here, saying, it's like riding a bike with training wheels forever. You'll never truly balance on your own.
That's a great one.
It perfectly illustrates why you eventually need to take off those training wheels, remove that crutch of translation. It feels safe, doesn't it? Like a necessary step.
It does feel safe. Comforting, even.
But that very safety net paradoxically prevents true, uninhibited progress and the development of those core English thinking skills. I think many learners resonate with that feeling of safety, yet deep down, they kind of know it's holding them back.
For sure. Then mistake number 2 is what we've termed the grammar overload.
Ah, the perfectionist trap. Exactly, an obsession with perfection. Many learners get completely bogged down trying to construct every single sentence perfectly according to all the grammar rules before they even open their mouths to speak.
They're mentally diagramming sentences in real time.
Pretty much. Trying to recall every exception, every conjugation, every article rule. What's truly fascinating here, though, is that native speakers just don't do that. We don't consciously think about grammar rules while we're speaking.
It's mostly automatic, subconscious.
Largely, yes. We don't parse verb conjugations or article usage in the moment. And here's a little secret. Even native speakers make grammar mistakes sometimes.
We certainly do.
The goal, especially in fluid conversation, is effective communication and connection, right?
Yeah.
Not flawless academic prose delivered in real time.
I can completely relate to that pressure, though. Yeah. Do you find yourself as a learner pausing, mentally running through verb conjugations or article usage, trying to recall that specific rule from chapter 5 of your textbook before you can even get a word out? That mental gymnastics, it just drains your cognitive energy and completely breaks the natural flow. It makes you hesitant and much slower than you actually need to be.
It really does. It's about letting go of the need for absolute grammatical perfection in every single utterance and trusting your brain to make good enough connections to convey your meaning.
Okay, so translation trap, grammar overload. What's mistake number 3?
Mistake number 3 is the fear of failure. That debilitating hesitation that comes purely from the apprehension of making errors.
Just being afraid to mess up.
Yeah. The core problem is that this fear can literally paralyze learners. It leads them to hold back from speaking or even from practicing their English in any meaningful way. They self-censor.
Waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect sentence.
Which rarely, if ever, actually comes. This raises an important question. How can we reframe mistakes?
How should we think about them?
Well, our sources are very clear on this. Mistakes are how we learn. Fluency is a product of consistent practice, of trial and error. It is not defined by an absence of errors.
So each mistake isn't a failure?
Not at all. Think of it as a valuable data point, a learning opportunity. Your brain uses those errors to optimize itself, to prune inefficient connections in real time. They guide the learning process.
It's almost counterintuitive, isn't it? We think we need to be perfect to speak fluently.
Right.
But actually the process of trying, making those mistakes, maybe feeling a little embarrassed, but then adjusting and learning from them, that is the true learning journey itself.
Absolutely. If you're not making any mistakes, it often means you're probably not pushing yourself enough. You're staying in your comfort zone.
Not engaging with the language in a way that truly challenges your cognitive boundaries. Okay, what's the last big mistake?
And finally, mistake number 4 is the immersion deficit. Basically, a chronic lack of consistent English exposure.
Not enough English in your daily life.
Exactly. The core problem is simple. If your daily environment is overwhelmingly dominated by your native language, your brain will naturally default to it. It's the path of least resistance. It's the most energy-efficient route.
So you have to actively fight that default.
You do. You need to actively train your brain to prioritize English. And the solution, therefore, is conscious, deliberate immersion. You need to actively surround yourself with English.
Through what kinds of things?
Through music, videos, podcasts, conversations, reading anything and everything. You need to keep your brain constantly in English mode.
Because that continuous exposure is what reinforces the new neural pathways we're trying to build.
Precisely. It makes those pathways stronger and more easily accessible, eventually becoming the default themselves.
You know, consider how a child learns their first language.
Yeah.
They're completely immersed in it from birth, right? There's no other linguistic competition.
Total immersion.
Total immersion. Now, while adults can't always replicate that full 24/7 immersion, understanding the principle of constant, consistent exposure is absolutely key.
Even small, deliberate acts of immersion, when done consistently, add up. They accumulate and can dramatically influence your brain's default language settings over time.
So if these are the traps, the translation crutch, the perfection paralysis, the fear of missteps, and the immersion void, the real question becomes, what concrete actions can we take to rewire our brains? Let's do a quick recap first.
Good idea.
The 4 biggest mistakes we've identified are: 1, over-reliance on translation; 2, stressing way too much about perfect grammar; 3, fearing mistakes and holding back;
Yeah.
and 4, not getting enough consistent English exposure.
Recognizing those patterns in your own learning is the crucial first step.
Absolutely. It's the first step towards breaking free from them and building new habits. #6 powerful steps to rewire your brain for English. All right, now for the exciting part. You understand why thinking in English is vital, and you can hopefully recognize some of those pitfalls. So let's talk about how to actually do it. Let's share 6 powerful practical steps to really start rewiring your brain for English.
Okay, step 1 is something we call English labeling. It's about actively naming and describing your world in English.
Sounds simple.
The core technique is wonderfully simple. Just look around your immediate environment wherever you are right now and consciously label objects in English. Start with simple, concrete nouns.
Right.
Like table, chair, wall, light, door, phone. Just make it a little mental game with yourself as you move through your day. Point and name, silently or aloud.
Okay, I can see that. And then I imagine you take it a step further.
Exactly. Go beyond just naming. Begin to describe the objects and your interaction with them. Instead of just cup, think.
I am drinking hot coffee from my white cup.
Perfect. Or the cup is warm in my hands.
Oh.
Or maybe you look at the window and think, That is a large window. I can see outside through the window.
The green trees are swaying.
Yes. This moves you from just passive vocabulary recognition to active sentence formation, building those mental connections directly in English.
And this is something you can start doing literally right now wherever you are listening. No special tools needed, just your surroundings and your focused attention.
Exactly. Step 2 is embracing the inner monologue.
Talking to yourself.
Pretty much. Talking to yourself in English, internally. The core technique is to narrate your actions, your observations, and your thoughts to yourself in English throughout the day.
Like a running commentary in your head.
Yeah, a stream of consciousness in English. For example, as you're getting ready in the morning, you might think, okay, I'm putting on my shoes now. Oh, it looks like a sunny day today. Good. I need to go to the store later. What should I buy for dinner tonight? Maybe some chicken and vegetables.
So you're describing your immediate experience and your plans.
Right, your present actions and future intentions.
This might feel a bit strange at first, maybe even a little silly.
It can feel odd initially, yeah, but it's incredibly effective because it's your own personal silent conversation. It provides this constant, low-pressure mental rehearsal space for actually using English actively.
And connecting this to the bigger picture.
Yeah.
How does it help rewire the brain?
Well, this practice trains your brain to process your own thoughts and actions directly in English. It makes English the default language for your internal world, for your consciousness.
So you're removing your native language from the very source of your mental activity.
Exactly. You're establishing English as the primary language of your internal experience. And this internal rehearsal actually strengthens the neural pathways for spoken English, too, making it feel more natural when you eventually speak aloud.
Okay, step 3 sounds like a big one. The English to English dictionary shift. You said this is a game changer.
It really can be. And it often feels counterintuitive at first. The core technique here is to actively break the habit of looking up unknown words and finding their translation in your native language.
So no more bilingual dictionaries.
Ideally, yes, or at least use them much less. Instead, when you encounter a word you don't know, train yourself to use an English-to-English dictionary. A learner's dictionary is often best.
What's the benefit of doing that? It sounds harder.
It might feel harder initially, but the immense benefit is that it forces your brain to understand that new word within the context of other English words.
So you're building connections within English.
Precisely. You're building a stronger, more robust, English-only semantic network in your brain. You're creating direct connections between English words and concepts, bypassing your native language entirely.
Could you give an example?
Sure. Let's say you encounter the word excited. Instead of looking up its translation, you look it up in an English learner's dictionary and read the definition, feeling very happy and eager.
Okay.
Now, your brain creates a direct link between excited and the concepts of happy and eager, all within the English system. You're not going through a translation hub.
That's brilliant. It really is like building bridges directly between English words and concepts. Instead of always routing through your native language, you're weaving a richer, more integrated tapestry of English in your mind.
Which leads to much faster retrieval and deeper understanding in the long run.
Makes sense. Okay, step 4.
Step 4 is simple but crucial. Embrace simplicity. Start with simple sentences.
Don't try to be Shakespeare right away.
Exactly. Don't try to construct complex, elaborate, multi-clause sentences from the get-go. That can be overwhelming, it's cognitively exhausting, and frankly, it's often counterproductive.
So start small.
Start small. Begin with short, simple phrases. Focus on getting your basic message across clearly and directly.
What's the benefit there? Doesn't it feel too basic?
It might feel basic, but the benefit is huge. It builds confidence and fluency by focusing on achieving a successful communication without the immediate pressure of intricate grammar or advanced vocabulary. You're building momentum. You're proving to yourself, hey, I can think and express myself effectively in English.
So instead of wrestling with a sentence like, I have determined that it is necessary for me to proceed to the supermarket in order to purchase some organic vegetables for this evening's repast, because my refrigeration unit is currently quite devoid of produce.
Yeah, maybe just think.
I need vegetables.
Yeah.
Or I will cook dinner. Or even just refrigerator is empty.
Exactly. Simple, direct, and incredibly effective for building that foundational thought process.
This raises an important question, I think. Are we sometimes too ambitious too early, especially as adult learners? We feel this pressure to produce complex language, to prove we're proficient.
That's very common. But starting simple is not a sign of weakness. It's actually a smart foundational strategy. You're building a strong and sustainable base of confidence and fluency. Our brains learn best in manageable chunks.
You can always add complexity later, once the basic architecture is solid.
Precisely. Build the foundation first.
Okay, step 5 is about cultivating your inner English voice. How is this different from the inner monologue?
It takes the inner monologue a significant step further. It's about actively engaging in asking yourself questions and then answering them, all in English.
So it's more interactive, even though it's internal.
Exactly. It's about making English your proactive internal dialogue, not just a passive narration of what's happening.
Can you give examples?
Sure. As you're planning your day or maybe thinking through a task, okay, what should I do first this morning? Maybe I'll start with breakfast. Why am I feeling a bit tired today? Oh, probably because I stayed up late reading that article. What am I thinking about right now? I'm thinking about this deep dive and how to explain this step.
So you're introducing questions, planning, reasoning.
Yes, an interrogative and planning element to your internal English. And that's a huge part of how native speakers think, right? We constantly question, plan, evaluate, problem solve, reflect internally.
Doing this in English makes the language part of your deeper cognitive processes then.
Absolutely. It prepares you for more complex reasoning, decision-making, and even imagining hypothetical dialogues all in English. It's like having a mental sparring partner for your English brain.
Love that. Okay, and the final step, step 6.
Step 6. Total immersion. Basically, surround yourself with English.
Go all in.
Go all in as much as realistically possible. The core technique here is to actively seek out and engage with English content as much as you can in your daily life. Make it intentional. Make it almost inescapable.
So we're talking music, movies.
Music, movies, TV shows, podcasts, books, articles, news websites, and crucially, actively seeking out and participating in actual conversations with English speakers whenever you get the chance.
And this step reinforces all the others.
It absolutely does. Think of it as the environment that helps all the other seeds grow. The more English you hear, read, and actively interact with, the more opportunities your brain has to process information directly in English.
It makes it the natural default.
Exactly. This constant exposure naturally nudges English towards becoming the default language for your mind, solidifying all the other practices. Our sources emphasize that this consistent engagement actually promotes neuroplasticity. It helps your brain physically create and strengthen those English-only pathways, making them the preferred routes for thought and expression over time.
Okay, let's recap those 6 steps again quickly. Powerful stuff.
Right. 1. English labeling, naming things around you.
2. Inner monologue, talking to yourself, narrating your day.
3. English-to-English dictionary shift, building connections within English.
4. Embrace simplicity. Start with simple sentences. Build confidence.
5. Cultivate your inner English voice. Ask and answer questions internally.
And 6. Total immersion. Surround yourself. Make English unavoidable.
That's the toolkit, a comprehensive approach to rewiring your brain.
So we've laid out these 6 powerful steps to rewire your brain. Fantastic. But now the big question is, how do we make this stick? How do we make it a consistent, ingrained habit? Because we all know consistency is the real key to progress.
Absolutely. Knowing the steps is one thing, doing them daily is another. Let's dive into some specific daily practice exercises that will help solidify these new thinking patterns and embed them into your routine.
Great. Where should someone start?
A fantastic and very manageable starting point is to consciously try to start and end your day in English.
Bookending the day.
Exactly. When you first wake up, maybe even before you grab your phone or coffee, before your native language completely takes over your thoughts, try to plan your day in simple English.
Like what?
Think, okay, what do I need to do today? Right, I will eat breakfast first. Then I need to work on that report for maybe an hour. I hope the weather is good for my walk later. Just simple planning thoughts.
And then at the end of the day,
same idea, but reflection. At night, before you fall asleep, take a minute to review your day in English. Okay, today I went to the store. That was fine. Oh, I met my friend for coffee, and we had a really good chat. I felt happy about that conversation.
what's the benefit of doing this specifically?
The benefit is immense. It acts as this powerful psychological bookend. It frames your entire day with English thought. It sets a mental precedent in the morning and then consolidates your experiences in English at night.
So it trains your brain to open and close its daily processing in the target language.
Precisely. Establishing English as a default mode for both reflection and planning.
Okay, that sounds doable. What's next?
Next, try setting a specific no translation rule for a dedicated block of time each day, maybe 30 minutes.
A focus challenge.
Exactly. This is a very targeted, intensive core exercise. Choose a specific 30-minute block, maybe during your commute, or while doing chores, or just sitting quietly where you commit to thinking only in English, no matter what.
No slipping back aloud.
Well, you try your best not to. No consciously reverting to your native language. This conscious challenge forces your brain to operate solely in English for that period, building mental agility and actively reducing your reliance on translation.
It's like a deliberate workout for your English thinking muscle.
It is, and it creates new neural pathways more quickly because of the focused effort.
I like that. It's a great way to push your boundaries. You could do this while you're washing dishes, folding laundry, exercising. It creates this focused, intense environment for your brain to build those new direct pathways for English. It's definitely a challenge, but I can see how it would be rewarding.
Very rewarding. Another crucial practice is to actually speak aloud to yourself in English.
Out loud, not just in your head.
Out loud, yes. As you go about simple daily activities, describe what you're doing aloud in English. This isn't about performing for anyone, it's purely for you. It's about externalizing those internal English thoughts and actually hearing your own voice producing English.
Can you give an example?
Sure. If you're in the kitchen making tea, okay, I'm making tea now. Need to boil the water first. This tea smells good. I think I'll add a slice of lemon today.
Or maybe when you're out for a walk.
Yeah. Right, I am walking to the park now. The sun feels warm on my face. Oh, look at those beautiful red flowers over there. It's just simple observations spoken aloud.
How does speaking aloud help more than just thinking?
It bridges the gap between purely internal thought and actual spoken output. It makes the transition much smoother and more natural when you eventually speak to others.
You're giving your English thoughts a physical voice.
Exactly. You're solidifying both your internal thought process and your spoken fluency. You're building crucial muscle memory in your mouth and tongue for producing English sounds and rhythms.
Okay, that makes sense. What else?
Building on that, actively try to use English during simple routine activities. The core idea here is to integrate English thinking and speaking into low-pressure, everyday tasks where you're not worried about being judged.
So not just dedicated practice time, but weaving it into life.
Exactly. While you're cooking, label the ingredients aloud, describe your actions. Okay, I'm chopping the onions now. Careful, the pan is hot. While walking, comment on your surroundings. Wow, that's a tall building. Look, the dog is wagging its tail. While exercising, maybe describe your movements or even just sing along out loud to English music.
This is brilliant because it takes the pressure completely off, doesn't it? You're not performing for an audience, you're just living your life, but doing it partly in English.
Right. It makes English thinking feel like a natural, organic part of your daily routine rather than some separate, stressful task you have to schedule.
It becomes embedded in your existence. It shows your brain that English isn't just for classes or formal situations, but for every aspect of life.
Exactly. And finally, a really helpful practice. Keep a simple English journal.
Writing it down.
Yes. Dedicate just a few minutes each day, 5 minutes is fine, to writing down your thoughts, your daily activities, maybe your goals, in simple English.
What's the key principle here? Perfect grammar.
No, definitely not. The key principle is not to worry about perfect grammar or spelling. The absolute goal is simply to practice expressing your thoughts directly in English, on paper, without the mental filter of translation. Just get your ideas down.
So it's a low-stakes environment for written English thought.
Precisely. It reinforces your vocabulary, it helps cement new sentence structures you're learning, and it gives you a space to freely explore ideas directly in the language without the immediate pressure of speaking.
And you can write anything. Bullet points, short sentences.
Anything. Bullet points about your day, short sentences about how you feel, full paragraphs about something you're thinking about, whatever feels most natural to express your thoughts in that moment.
And connecting this to the bigger picture again, how does writing help with thinking in English?
Well, writing helps solidify your thought processes. It naturally slows down your thoughts just enough to allow you to consciously practice forming sentences and articulating ideas in English.
You have time to construct the thought.
You do. And it also gives you a tangible record of your English thinking journey. You can look back at entries from weeks or months ago and actually see your progress.
That's useful.
It is. You can see how your expression evolves, how it becomes more sophisticated or more natural. It's a really powerful self-assessment tool and motivator.
Okay, these daily practices sound incredibly effective, and I'm sure they are. But let's be real. Changing deep-seated linguistic habits, like relying on translation, isn't always a smooth ride. learners are definitely bound to hit some bumps in the road.
Oh, absolutely. It's unrealistic to expect otherwise.
So what are the common challenges people should anticipate? And more importantly, how can they navigate them effectively to stay on track and not get discouraged?
Great questions. The first major challenge, and it's a very natural one, is simply defaulting back to your native language.
Slipping back into old habits.
Exactly. The problem is that it's just easy for your brain to revert to its comfort zone, especially when you're tired or stressed or trying to think about something complex. Your brain will always seek the path of least resistance, energetically speaking.
So what's the solution when that happens? Just give up?
No, definitely not. The solution, as our sources strongly advise, is primarily to be incredibly patient and compassionate with yourself. Remember, this is a habit-forming process, not a switch you can just flip overnight.
It takes time to build new habits.
It takes time and repetition. So start with small, manageable English thoughts. Gradually expand your mental English territory. And when you do slip back into your native language, which you will, don't punish yourself for it.
Just notice it.
Just notice it, acknowledge it gently, and then consciously, gently guide your thoughts back to English. It really is a marathon, not a sprint. Treat yourself kindly.
That's a crucial distinction. It's exactly like building a new physical muscle. You don't expect to go into the gym and lift the heaviest weights on day one.
Well, of course not.
You start with light weights, you focus on consistent, correct form, and you gradually increase the load over time. The same applies here. Consistency and gentle persistence will yield far better results than harsh self-criticism.
Beautifully put. Okay, challenge number 2 is getting stuck because you don't know a specific word.
Ah, yes, the vocabulary gap moment.
Exactly. You're trying your best, you're thinking along in English, but suddenly you hit a wall, a mental blank. You can't recall the specific English word for a concept you have in mind.
And the natural inclination is?
The natural inclination is to immediately panic slightly and translate the word from your native language, or just give up on the thought.
But there's a better way.
There's a much more powerful solution according to our sources. Try to describe it in English.
Instead of translating.
Yes. Instead of immediately reverting to your native language, use the English words you do know to explain the concept, to talk around the missing word.
Okay, this is so smart because it keeps you firmly in the English mindset, right? You're not breaking the flow.
Exactly. So, for example, instead of immediately stopping because you can't recall the word refrigerator, you'd push yourself to think...
the cold box, where you keep food to stop it from going bad, something like that.
Perfect. Or if you can't instantly recall umbrella, you might think, you know, the thing I use to protect myself from the rain, or that canopy thing I hold over my head when the weather's bad.
It forces your brain to be resourceful and creative within the English language itself.
Yes, rather than just defaulting back to translation as an escape hatch.
What's really fascinating here, connecting this back, is that this technique actively trains circumlocution.
Circumlocution.
Yeah, the ability to talk around a word you don't know. And that is a vital skill for fluent speakers of any language, even native ones. We all occasionally forget a word or need to describe something complex.
That's true. I do that all the time.
Right, so this practice keeps you in English mode, it prevents that translation detour, and it actively builds your descriptive vocabulary and your ability to articulate ideas effectively, even when specific words fail you.
It's a sign of true linguistic agility, actually, being able to communicate effectively even with gaps.
Definitely. Okay, and the final common challenge, feeling like you're not improving, that dreaded plateau effect.
Ah, the plateau. Yes, that's a tough one psychologically. Progress in language learning, especially with something like thinking patterns, isn't always linear. It often comes in spurts.
So there will inevitably be days, or maybe even weeks, where you feel stagnant. Like you're putting in the effort, but nothing's changing.
Exactly, where your growth seems to have stalled. And it's incredibly easy to get discouraged during those times, to feel like all your efforts are for nothing.
So what's the solution then? Just keep pushing blindly.
Well, keep pushing, yes, but not blindly. The solution recommended by our sources is to actively track your progress in tangible ways. This helps make your often invisible growth visible and concrete.
How can you track progress in thinking?
Several ways. You could, for instance, record your voice periodically, maybe once a week or every 2 weeks, just talking spontaneously about your day or a topic for a minute. Then listen back and compare over time. You'll likely notice improvements in fluency, confidence, maybe even pronunciation.
Or reviewing journal entries?
Yes. Review your journal entries from a month or two ago. You'll probably be surprised at how your vocabulary has grown or how your sentence structures have become more natural or complex.
You could even practice speaking in front of a mirror.
Exactly. Observe your own expression, your flow, your hesitations. The key reminder from the source material here is powerful and profoundly true. Progress may feel slow, but it's happening. Stay consistent.
Those small, consistent efforts really do compound over time.
They absolutely do. They create significant breakthroughs that you might not notice day to day, but become obvious when you look back over a longer period.
It's often incredibly hard to see your own growth, isn't it? Especially when you're immersed in the daily effort and challenges.
Very hard. We're often our own worst critics.
So having these tangible ways to track your progress can be an incredibly motivating factor. It helps you push through those plateau moments when you feel like giving up. Remember, consistency, coupled with these active tracking methods, is probably your most powerful ally in this whole journey.
Well said. Persistence and perspective. #outro.
Wow, okay. We have covered so much ground today, so many powerful and practical strategies, from really digging into the fundamental why behind thinking in English.
Understanding that core importance.
Right. To breaking down those common mental roadblocks that trip people up.
Recognizing the translation trap, the perfectionism.
Exactly. And then giving you those 6 core steps and a whole bunch of daily practices to actively start rewiring your brain. We've really done a deep dive into this truly transformative skill.
It really can change your whole experience with English.
Absolutely. So remember these core principles we talked about. Start small. Be incredibly consistent in your practice. Even 5 minutes a day is better than nothing. And absolutely, please do not be afraid of making mistakes.
They are not failures.
They are not failures. They are your most effective teachers on this journey. Thinking in English is a skill, just like learning to play an instrument or ride a bike, and anyone can develop it with dedication and the right techniques.
And this isn't just about learning English on some superficial level, is it?
Not at all. It's about fundamentally changing how your brain interacts with the language. It's about moving beyond just translating words to truly inhabiting the language, making it an integral part of your cognitive being, your way of thinking and seeing the world.
And that profound shift is what ultimately unlocks a level of fluency and confidence you might not have even thought possible before. It's about empowering you to be truly articulate, spontaneous, and I think authentic in English.
Whether you're just chatting with friends or tackling a complex work meeting or presentation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So to our incredible listeners, we've given you a whole toolkit today, really packed with insights and actionable steps. We really encourage you to take a moment now to reflect. Which specific tip or strategy resonated most with you?
Which one felt most accessible right now? Or maybe which one challenged you the most? Felt a bit scary but intriguing?
Yeah. Which one will you try first? Which step will you take today or tomorrow to begin, or perhaps deepen your journey of thinking directly in English? We'd genuinely love for you to put these into practice and start experiencing the profound difference they can make.
So what does this all mean for you personally as you go forward? As you embark on this process of training your brain to think purely in English, maybe consider this. What surprising new connections might you make between ideas when you're not filtering them through translation?
Ooh, interesting.
What deeper insights might you gain into the nuances of English-speaking cultures and perspectives? And what entirely new perspectives might emerge for you when your thoughts can finally flow freely, unhindered by that translation bottleneck, purely in the language you're working so hard to master?
The world of unburdened, authentic English thought awaits.
It really does. Go explore it.